Welcome back to another episode of the CattleUSA Daily Podcast. Today we are welcoming back Gary Lezak with the Weather 2020 team to bring you guys your weekly weather report and predictive weather of what is going to not be only happening this next week, but what is going to be happening this fall. And I know a lot of people in the Midwest, specifically our farmers, are talking about all the rain that we have been getting and how extremely wet it is. At least here in Kansas and Iowa and Nebraska, we've been getting absolutely slammed with a lot of rain recently. And Gary is bringing the prediction for harvest and what we need to be seeing and preparing for the end of September, when harvest is coming around and we are getting ready to get in those fields. It unfortunately might not be going the way that we want it to as far as the weather goes. So Gary tells us all about that, breaks it down for us in this podcast episode, and tells us everything else that we need to know. We hit on hurricane season and a little bit of everything else in between, as we always do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this episode with Gary. But before we do, if you guys could take a second to like, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, we really appreciate it here at the team. It continues to help us be able to grow and reach more people. If you love this podcast and love when we come on every single day, make sure you even hit that notify button. You will get notifications of when podcasts go live, so you can be the first in on all of the information that we are bringing you guys. Let's go ahead and hop into this episode with Gary. Gary, welcome back to the podcast.
Good morning. That was not a good morning. Let me do it again. Good morning, or if it's evening, good evening.
You needed a redemption there. You needed to do that again.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
It feels good. It just feels good. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. It is beautiful here in Kansas. It is starting to cool down. We're starting to cool down a little bit. We got a little bit of a little cooler temperatures coming in, which I appreciate because it was hotter than Hades last week with a lot of humidity. So very much enjoying all of that. Life is good. Business is good. Husband's great.
Good.
I can't complain around here.
That's
How are you doing,
awesome.
Gary?
Football season is coming. I mean, this is
Football
exciting.
season's coming. Oh my gosh, I have a story for football season.
Yeah.
So this is the first year that I have agreed to be in a fantasy league.
Oh my God.
I've never done a fantasy football team ever in my life. And I'm trying to decide if I actually want to go in with any strategy at all, or if I'm going to treat this more like a March Madness bracket where I'm like, I don't know what that team is or how that team does, but I think that team is good. And I'm just going to randomly pick things and hope for the best because, I've done a lot of research on this fantasy draft that we have here next week. And I think I'm actually more clueless after all the research than I was before. So it's overwhelming. It's a lot, but it's going to be fun, right?
Should be fun. It will be fun, but it's frustrating. It may be because you can have your favorite player, and let's say your best player is, for example, might be, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you end up drafting Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos, and you want him to do well, but you don't want the Broncos to win, so it's like very difficult. So it becomes a problem, but you're happy one way or the other. But no, I would do this strategy with knowing you, and you want to do it that way. I would write down your top 10 players you would like to have on your team. And then, the rest of them, just go with whatever's out there,
just go with the vibes.
That's available or whatever you think. But I would find out which players you want, and then try to get them.
Yes. I think I'm actually probably going to go into this way over prepared and probably too serious. And I'm probably going to have a 6-page list in front of me of like my exact order of quarterbacks, my exact order of everything. And then just like, when I get to my rounds,
That's fine too.
But I'm probably going to be a little over dramatic about it. I'm not
I wouldn't be too stressed out. Just pick your players and then hope they don't get injured.
Yes, honestly, it's going to be an interesting year. We're doing it with some other like couples that we're really close friends with. Like we're doing it with my sister and brother-in-law, and then 2 of our best friends, like couples. So I'm like, this is going to be so chill. It'll be great.
That's awesome. So that'll be fun. It sounds like a fun league,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I did it for many years, and I finally stopped doing it just because I really enjoyed the games better without doing that. I would be mad at the end of the day. I would be mad at the end of the Chiefs might win, and yet I'd be mad because my team lost.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Love it. Amazing. Well, yes, football season is coming very quickly, and I'm very excited. We are also planning our K-State game days that we're going to go to, and that's
Are
the
you
nice
going
thing
to
about living in
Ireland?
Manhattan. We are not going to Ireland. My mom is in Ireland right now, though.
Wow.
So, yes, very jealous of that. And then, gosh, I have like 6 or 7 other people that I know personally that are like close to me that are in Ireland or about to leave for Ireland. And I'm like, send me all the pictures. I'm going to live
That's
vicariously through
awesome.
you. Yes, yes. It'll be a great game. It'll be a great game. I
That's
love it.
amazing.
Yes.
Cool. Well, we got to talk about
Yes.
weather, don't we?
Yes. What's happening in the weather, Gary?
Well, this weekend, something dramatic is happening. There's a really strong summer cold front that's coming through, and everyone's going to notice. It's going to be much, much cooler Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday for a while. It's still summer. We got to remember it's going to heat up again, but this is really a nice break. There may be some rain along the leading edge Friday. With that, I'm hearing some areas of Kansas, Nebraska would like to be drying out anyway. But this will bring drier air in. And then there could be a weird storm Tuesday-ish with some colder rain spreading across the plains. So an interesting weather pattern for sure. And remember, the weather pattern is cycling according to the LRC. It was discovered by me back in 1987, 1988. We can trace it back to the 1940s. And a unique weather pattern sets up every fall. When does that begin setting up? It's probably starting to evolve already right now. However, it's really the first week of October when it all gets rolling. And once it sets up in October, November, it gets into this rhythm. The weather pattern is cycling regularly. And so we were able to make these predictions for the cool spell coming our way this weekend and early next week to everything weather, from the hurricane that's moving away now from the coast and out to sea, predicted. We were able to predict that hurricane accurately 6 months in advance. And if you can predict a hurricane, you can imagine we can predict the weather for droughts and floods and how the conditions are going to be for Cattle USA. And so it's different than other forecasting methods. What happens is we are able to get the blueprint of the weather pattern. So in other words, by November and December, when I narrow in on what the cycle is, this year's been close to 6 weeks long, we can make predictions for when those hurricanes are going to be. We can make predictions for where there will be drought and where the drought will shrink and move away, and where there may be floods and tornado outbreaks and heat waves and cold outbreaks. We know when and where. We literally have the DNA of the atmosphere. We're not perfect, but we're able to do it. Other systems that you may think about using, and if you do use them, they're often wrong, and they can't get specific like we do on what's going to happen. For example, El Nino, La Nina, it's called the El Nino Southern Oscillation Index. Other things like that. And sometimes people say, hey, this looks like 1993, 1982, so the weather's going to be like then, but it isn't. It's like this year's pattern. This year is the best analog. The current year's pattern is the best analog. And this gives ranchers and farmers actionable information months in advance. So that's what we have for you guys. And so, what is there going to be heat stress or cold stress? Cattle producers out there can plan for extreme weather impacts on how might impact your cattle. So just know that we're providing that information. I'm learning more about your operations out there, and winter storms can cause feed supply problems. My goal this winter, I'm always, honestly, I'll just tell you, I've raised the bar high when I was on television, just predicting Kansas City's weather every day. I was the most accurate for many, many years. In fact, I was considered by far the most accurate. But when you raise the bar that high, when you are wrong, people act like you're wrong all the time. But even though we're right 75% of the time, if you're right 75% of the time, you're going to be wrong 25% of the time. So you have to just understand that. And this winter, I plan on really sticking my neck out more by the time we know what the cycle is and predicting when and where you guys are all going to have your winter storms and when it might impact your operations. So that's my goal for things that will improve your preparing for feed costs and hay production and things like that.
Yes, I'm so excited to be able to work through like October and setting up of the new cycle and us just being able to come on and talk about that as it's happening live and in the moment, and being able to work through that as we've been talking for almost the last like 7 months, Gary, of the weather and prediction and everything like that, kind of letting it take a full circle moment and be like, okay, we're starting over again from the beginning, and being able to walk through that of exactly what that looks like and how that is going to impact our winter weather patterns, our spring weather patterns, everything like that. As we look out to the next month, Gary, what else are we kind of seeing in the weather for the rest of August, going into early September? What can we kind of be expecting there?
Well, one thing, the pattern is likely beginning to start to change for what's going to happen next year. But right now, here we are near the end of August, and we're at 95%. 95% this pattern that we've been in all year long. So not really a change yet. By September 3rd, about a month from now, we're going to be about 60% the pattern we've been in and 40% the new pattern already. And by October 5th, 6th, or 7th, we're going to flip over that tipping point and the new pattern will be cycling. And it might only still be 51% the new pattern at that point. And by November, we're almost predominantly the new pattern. So we're going to learn a lot in the next few weeks. But one thing that is, it's not 100% confident, but I'm rather confident in, as we talked about last week, is the potential for it to be too wet across parts of Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri at the end of the month of September. And that just coincides with harvest and stuff like that. So if we start seeing a very wet pattern evolving at the last week of September, I'm giving you right now 30 days notice, okay? So plan for a possible wet end of September. Does that mean you move up, harvest to September 20th, or you can't, or you wait till October the 15th? You might have to. There may be a very wet window in there where in a 7-day stretch, we get 5 inches of rain right when you think you want to get out into the field. So keep that in mind. That's one thing to look forward to. Between now and then, there will be dry spells and then a few thunderstorms that will be timed pretty good. And so that's all in the cards, Lauren.
How about hurricane season? How's all of that going? We talked a little bit about the hurricane that you guys predicted 6 months ago that was going to come through. I forget the name of the hurricane. It didn't hit landfall. It's just going right up the coast and going back out to sea now. But what else is going on hurricane season, Gary?
Yeah, Hurricane Erin formed.
Erin, yes, thank you.
Erin, and Erin formed a week ago, and it's been tracking towards the East Coast. And on Thursday, it tracked off just east of North Carolina, and now it's curving out to sea. And so it missed the coast. It did have some minor impacts on the coast, which is great news. It is one that the LRC pegged for it to possibly curve out to sea. There was also a possibility it could make landfall, but I'm not shocked it's doing what the track it's taking. It actually fits those weather seas we talked about rather well. So anyway, there's still a lot to learn about each one of those. But Erin's just the fifth one. Fernand is the next one. And I think it's Fernand with a silent D, believe it or not. And so it's Fernand. And most people are going to say it's Fernand, but I think it's pronounced Fernand without the D. That's what I was told by this meteorologist, Jeremy Nelson. He wants that one to be like not a big storm because everyone's not going to be able to pronounce it right. It's just a silent D or a D, Fernand or Fernand. It's just
Fernand. So just like pretend the D is not there. So Fernand.
Yeah, it's a male
So
name.
why is the D there in the first place?
Well,
The American language
do you say
confuses
often
me.
or often? What do you say?
Often.
Often?
Often.
Or you use a T? I don't.
Yeah, I use a T.
See, I'm from
Often.
Los
Yeah,
Angeles,
often.
and we say often without the T. Why is there a T there? But for you, there is a T there.
There is a T there for me, so I don't know what to tell you with
For me,
that
there's
one.
no T. It's often. How often
Gotcha.
do you do things? And you go, how often do you do things?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
The American language is crazy.
I know.
That's my comment.
Why have a soft D? Just take the D off. I know.
Whatever. Anywho, Fernan, what's up with Fernan?
Because I think Fernand, or just I don't know, Fernando. What's wrong with that?
Jeez.
But anyway, yeah, the English language. Fernand is the next one. That's just the sixth one. You know, we predicted 17 to 23 named storms. Right now, by the end of August, I would have expected to have about 2 or 3 more. So I think we've been the most accurate hurricane forecaster in the world, and I'm not going to say anything. It's not even halftime.
Yes, it's not even halftime.
If I'm down 17 to 3 and I've got the ball with 2 minutes to go, I can make it 17-10 and still win this game.
Exactly. Not
but
a concern.
We'll see how it goes, but yeah, the hurricane season is in progress, and we missed the big one, Emily. Now, I still think there's going to be 1 or 2 that make landfall in the United States, so September could be crazy.
Very good to know. Any other things in the weather that we need to hit on today, Gary? Highs, lows, buffaloes?
I can go up about 30 minutes and go see some buffaloes.
Have you never heard that? Give me a high, low, and a buffalo?
Buffaloes? I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Have you never heard that?
No. What is that?
Okay, so it's like it's like give me a high, low, or a buffalo. A buffalo is like a kind of like a neutral. Like it's not necessarily a high, it's not necessarily a low, it's just kind of like there. So it's like give me a high, low, or a buffalo, and it's like give me a neutral.
So we can learn a lot from the buffaloes.
Apparently.
Because they're not high, they're not low. They're just steady, happy creatures roaming the earth.
I think it's more for the fact that it's like it rhymes, like high, low, buffalo. Sounds cool. Sounds cool when you say it.
High, low, and Lauren is in the know. There you go.
Hey, I like that.
But no, nothing else for today. I mean,
Perfect.
I think that we're in the summer doldrums. A cold front sweeping in. It's how low will it go? It might be in the east in northern Kansas. That'd be a little early, but it can happen. So we might be in the 40s by Monday morning. And then we'll see if that storm comes out of the Rockies. But I'll be in Kansas City. It's called the Head for the Cure fundraiser. And if you're going to be there, you can sign up right now. It's on Sunday in Corporate Woods in Overland Park. It's one of the most fun, thrilling events. About 5,000 to 10,000 people are there. And it's interesting when everyone walks or runs. And so you have almost all 5,000 people lining up. It's a lot of people. The fundraiser starts, and if you're like the 5,000th person in line, you don't really even move for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's really fascinating, but then you start walking through. But it's really a great event, a fundraiser to raise funds to defeat brain cancer. Weather 2020 is one of the sponsors, and I provide them the beautiful cast that I came up with. And here is your beautiful cast. It's a beautiful day, whether it rains or not, because we're raising money for this cause. Yeah, but I'm going to be out there, and I hope to see everyone there. But otherwise, that's it. Everything else is going great.
Amazing, Gary. Well, I know Kansas City will love to have you back for the weekend that they can get you out of Colorado for a couple days and get you into Kansas City again. So, and as always, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge with us and our audience and everything else that comes along with it, whether it be some punny things like your shirt that you're wearing today, take weather seriously.
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 Yeah, like the cirrus cloud.
Yes, because it's a cirrus cloud. Amazing. I love it. I love it, Gary. Well, thank you as always for your time. To all of our listeners out there, if you like what Gary and I are talking about and want to check out more about Weather 2020, we have a link down in the show notes for you guys where you can check out that dashboard where we have a exclusive partnership with Weather 2020 to offer you guys a little bit of a discount for that as well. I also have the Glow a Predictor app linked down below, which is another one of Gary's products. It's an app in the App Store. It only costs like $4.99 a month to be able to have all of the things, and it's quite wonderful. So make sure you go check that out. All of Gary's social medias are down below. If you just can't get enough of him and you want him filling all of your social media screens, go check those out as well. And as always, we'll see y'all tomorrow on another episode. Have a good one, y'all.